A message for my people.
Nick Dais, baby. We the new label.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on, son.
Now this the black sheep sticking its home. I need a crib
Like I'm Gatsby.
I
Need
need it in
it.
hand. Just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. You see, they told me I'm the one that's gonna benefit. Never been a threat. Talking out of line, but never let me interject.
Little Nas to start the show. Getting very Queens in here. 2 Queens kids. Joining me now is, I think if you build a Mount Rushmore of sports media personalities, your face might be the first one that they put on there.
I appreciate that. I would never say that about myself, but I'll take it if you're going to say it like that. Thank you very, very much. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing very well,
Yeah,
and
man.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
You are a very busy man. You're all over the place. I love the work ethic.
Yeah.
Getting to see you in here, come in early, sit down, go over everything. It's I get to see exactly what it takes to be number one.
Well, it's a lot of work. There's no question about that. All that glitters ain't gold, and a lot of times people look at the finished product, but they don't take into account the work that goes into it. And, you know, for me, I've been at this for 30 years in terms of being in the newspaper industry, starting out as a high school reporter, starting out as an intern, before that living off of tuna fish and Kool-Aid and, you know, all of that stuff and making $15,000 a year. I've been on my grind for a very, very long time. And so this wasn't given, it was earned. And because it's earned, it's very much appreciated. And I don't take it for granted, and I don't get caught up in, you know, the celebratory things and what have you. I appreciate it. The respect, I definitely appreciate. The admiration, I definitely am humbled by. And I just try to give back as much as I possibly can to a lot of folks that are trying to make it in the business, because I'm not going to be doing this forever. And, you know, at some point in time, you just want to find yourself in a situation where, you know, you're able to smile because you see stars and you see people who've made it and you know you did something to help them. You know, sometimes that's worth so much more than all the other individual awards and money and all of this other stuff that comes with it. Don't get me wrong, those things matter and it's important. But you do get to a point where I can't tell you the joy that I have now, looking at the people that I helped. It's like they're all talented. They're accomplished in their own right. Shannon Sharp's a Hall of Famer. I had nothing to do with him playing football. And Ryan Clark, a Super Bowl champion like Shannon, and, you know, Marcus Spears and Dan Orlovsky. Mad Dog Russo's a Hall of Fame radio host, was doing it before I was even in the industry or whatever. But, you know, you see an abundance of people in the industry, and when they're able to look at me and say, he helped me, you know, he got to the top, and, you know, he made sure that we were right there with him. That really, really makes me feel really good.
Yeah, and I could tell by the tone of your voice too that, like you said, the money's great, the fame is great, and, you know, all the perks that come with it. But helping people along the way and bringing them up with you, I think that's a really cool thing about you. And, you know, you said a lot of things there, and you know, I don't really want to ask you too much about sports because I feel like you talk about sports all the time.
Okay.
But, you know, I'll be 33 in March, and I've been creating content on my own for about coming up on 9 years now, and a completely different path from you. I kind of just went to YouTube and learned how to edit and produce and do all that stuff with video and audio, and just a passion like I'm sure you had, you know, just being a sports fan my whole life. What advice would you give to a young content creator right now in the sports world?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I would say that right now, particularly at this day and time, you're in a position to give as much advice as I am. Because like you said, you started out on YouTube and you're a content creator and you edit and stuff like that. Well, that's the direction that the industry is going in. Even ESPN, within the next 2 years, I predict will be direct to consumer on ESPN. YouTube and other outlets in the digital stratosphere are going to be heavily utilized. Folks are still trying to figure out how to monetize it. I think the NFL is helping in that regard by taking their Sunday package ticket to YouTube from DirecTV. And I think those kind of things help to sort of segue you and all of us into the new era of things. Well, you're ahead of the curve because you've been doing this. There's things that I'm still learning about YouTube, the algorithms and, you know, what they use to judge success, how it's acquired. You also have to take into account what kind of success you want. You have people out there with exorbitant numbers and they get it, and that's great. But do you want it that way? Do you want to put out the kind of content that other people put out to get the numbers that they get? Or is it something that you don't mind gradually and incrementally improving upon to make sure that you're building it in a way that's connected to and indicative of your brand and who you are and what you stand for. Me, I chose the latter. I just started doing my YouTube show, even though I've had a podcast since September of 2022. The reality is I really didn't start on YouTube until March of 2023. And that's because that's when I had my team in place. So any numbers that I count for myself, the 540,000 plus or whatever, is since March. And now I'm getting started because I'm figuring things out and learning along the way. You don't have that problem. And so my advice to the youngsters coming on, on the come up, be addicted to content, be addicted to substance, be addicted to hard work, because you don't want to take shortcuts because everybody's going to spot those who take shortcuts. And it's going to be short-lived in terms of whatever success that you're able to acquire at that particular moment. You have to be addicted to the long game. And the reason why I say that is not to say that you don't want to speed your way or expedite the process towards being successful and getting money. But what I'm talking about is if you want to do this for a long period of time, you got to be married to it. You got to be married to the work. And it has to be something that's ingrained in you so you don't settle for putting forth a subpar product that folks are not going to necessarily respect and appreciate. Whether they like you or dislike you, when they respect you, you have the potential to go very, very far. Focus on that and not the extremes.
Dang, that was deep. That was deep there. And the one thing that's really cool about your podcast is I feel like you open yourself up a lot more on there than you do on TV.
Well, you can.
Yeah.
Because you're not limited. I have to guard myself against FCC airwaves.
Right.
It's not a matter of ESPN or whatever. It's the fact that you have FCC airwaves. You get fined. You get suspended. You can have a lot of things happen to you because you uttered the wrong word or wrong sentence, et cetera, et cetera. And the freedoms that you have in a digital stratosphere doesn't necessarily exist because in linear television, because you have restrictions that other people don't have. Why you think everybody's gravitating to the digital stratosphere? Because people in this world, in this day and age, are tired of being restricted. But we also understand the hazard of no restrictions. Then anything goes. Nothing's policed. And then all of a sudden, irresponsible behavior reigns. And you don't want that either. And so you're trying to find a happy medium, a medium where there's a world where that's opened up to the masses, but the masses embrace and adopt a level of responsibility and culpability that's necessary in order to ensure that fairness and just the humanity portion of things are always inserted into the proceedings. That's what you have to be about. And so for me, when I working for ESPN, no matter how long that's going to be, no matter how long it's been, I've often said this line about working for Disney and ESPN that I hold near and dear to my heart. As much of a headache as it can be sometimes, I would rather work for a place with standards than one searching for them. And I know that ESPN and Walt Disney has standards. And you just can't get away with saying anything. You can't just get away with being irresponsible and not caring. You're not going to be right all the time. You're not going to be perfect. But the intent, the constant effort that you put forth to be substantive, to be factual, to be fair, all of those things come into play when you work at a place like that. And that's why no matter what complaints I've had throughout the years, my appreciation for working where I work has always been exponentially higher than any negatives I may have to feel or say.
How does it feel to have influence? Because I feel like you're one of the people in pop culture, sports, just in general. When you say something, it carries so much cachet. Do you ever just sit back and not take that for granted, but take appreciation in that you have that kind of influence?
Well, the word appreciation is a strong word because there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it. And I know that. What I would tell you is that the perfect answer to that question is depending on who you ask.
Mm.
You have an awful lot of people in this business that want to be in this business because it's where their skill set lies. You have an awful lot of people who are in this business who want to be there because they want to be seen, because they want notoriety. And of course, they want the money. And then you have people like me who feel I was born to do this. my mother and my family said I came out of the womb talking. I've always known how to talk. I've always known how to express my thoughts and opinions. I've always been able to articulate myself appropriately. And because they know that about me, then they say, okay, all right, look at what he's doing for a living. And sure enough, it's true. I'm a best-selling author. I never considered myself a great writer. I was told I was a very good writer. I was elevated to a columnist at the Philadelphia Inquirer. But I never considered it my strength, even though I knew I could write. When I was in radio and I could talk, and I knew I was pretty good at that, you know. But to each his own. Somebody might not like my volume, my demonstrative or bombastic tendencies from time to time, or whatever the case may be. But when I'm on television, for better or worse, right or wrong, I truly believe I'm the best to ever do it. When I'm sitting in front of a microphone and there's a camera in front of me, I believe I'm the Michael Jordan of this.
Yeah.
I believe I'm second to nobody. And when you see me on TV, and I don't mean it in any kind of negative way towards any of the inordinate amount of colleagues that I have, that I've worked with, that I genuinely love and respect. And I have no proof of this. I guess you could say being the top rated show for 12 years and having the number one rated show and in the morning time and stuff like that. I guess you could say that. But for me, all I can tell you is that since the day I arrived in television, I've honestly spent every day feeling that no matter who's on the set for me, with me, the audience is waiting to hear from me. It's the one thing in my life I lack zero confidence in. When I don't care who I'm on the air with, I don't care what subject matter I'm tackling, I don't care how knowledgeable, because I'm a sports guy, but I'm on the air talking politics. Sometimes politicians, sometimes there's a political pundit on the air with me, whatever, and they obviously know more because it's what they live in, and we get all of that. But I don't believe ever that when I'm on the air, that there's somebody on the air with me that the audience wants to see and hear from more than me. I literally feel like I'm just sharing and being kind enough to share the wealth because I truly believe I'm the best. It's just how I am. I don't know how to put it. I have zero concerns. I have zero worries at all. And the irony is, I've told that to who I consider to be the greatest, Michael Jordan. I told him, I said, I'm the you of this industry. That's what I told him.
That's why I started the conversation saying that if you built the Mount Rushmore, I think your face is the first one when it comes to this genre and this field.
I let other people make that decision.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you that when I'm on the air, I believe I'm second to none. And you have people who have information and insiders. You have people who are pundits, commentators. You have people who are hosts. You have people who are interviewers. You have all of these different roles. No one's done it all but me.
I think the saying is, if you're good, you tell people. If you're great, others say it for you.
Yeah. I mean, you could say that, but I just said it about myself. I don't say it often, but why lie? I mean it. I mean, I'm 56 years old. 15 years from now, I don't know if I'll be on camera. I own my own production company and produce scripted and unscripted content. I have aspirations behind the camera. I have this podcast. I'm trying to develop shows. I'm trying to find young stars and young talent to develop shows for because of my connections in the industry and specifically within the Walt Disney and ESPN family, at least for now. I got all of that going on. And so because of that, this is not going to last forever, and I know that. And I'm perfectly fine handed that baton off. But until it's handed off, the proof has been in the pudding. I'm the best. And that's how I feel about it. And it is what it is.
Last question for me, because I know we're running up on time.
No, you got time. I got a few minutes. Go ahead.
Of all the videos and the amount of content through the years, do you know what my favorite video of yours is? So I'm born and raised New Yorker from Queens.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I have it's one of 3 videos saved in my phone as a favorites.
Mm-hmm.
that when you signed your ESPN contract, you went to
Yeah.
the PAL Center
Yeah, PAL Center, 200th Street and 112th Avenue. See my mother, yeah.
and you told her, "That's it. I got everything." Why'd that mean so much to you? Because that's something that that's like my main goal for my parents. My dad got a coffee truck in New York City. He's been there 30 years, 49th and Park Avenue. My mom's a teacher, third grade teacher at PS 174.
Okay.
So I got a lot of inspiration out of that video. Why'd that mean so much to you?
Because my mother's the greatest woman I've ever known. Probably the greatest human being I've ever known. You know, when I look at myself as a parent, and I look at my two daughters, I want them to behave themselves. I want them to remember how they were raised. I want them to do the right things. I want them to be healthy and happy. But I'd be lying if I said that one of the things that I want most is for them to absolutely love their daddy. And one of my greatest moments in my life, I came home from a hard day's work. My daughter Nyla was 3 years old at the time. And I was dog tired, sick as a dog. I was so tired, I was sick. I felt like I wanted to throw up. My head was pounding and everything. And I went home, and I got this like California king size bed, and it's kind of high. The bed, not the mattress itself laying on the bedpost, and it's kind of high. And I just went and I collapsed on the bed face first. And my 3-year-old daughter crawled up on the bed and sat up and somehow had the strength to grab my head and pull it on her lap and just rubbed my head. And anytime I have bad days, bad moments, stuff like that, I think like that. And one of the reason I say that is because it reminds me of what I always did with my mom. My mother would retire, and I'm a grown man, and I'm working for the New York Daily News at age 24, and I'm at the Philadelphia Inquirer by age 26, and I'm there until I'm into my 40s. And then I arrive at ESPN, and throughout all of those years, I would drive home at least once a week to Hollis, Queens, where my mother lived. I had a bigger house. I was living in South Jersey, and I was making more money than my mother had ever made in her lifetime and stuff like that. So I had a nice home. But I would drive to Queens, New York once a week. And hand to God, as pathetic as it sounds, I would always go home. And my mother would just look at me with such annoyance because I would literally go home, walk upstairs into her bed, and crawl in her bed and lay my head on her stomach. Because my mother, obviously 6 children and, in her 60s into her 70s, she had a little belly there, and I used to squeeze her belly first, squeeze it, then she just used to look at me with annoyance, but she never stopped me. And then I would lay down on her belly. Like literally, I'm 56. I was doing this in my 40s because there was nothing that felt better than me laying my head on my mother's stomach because she was my queen, my everything. And so for me to get a contract that afforded me the luxury of being able to tell her she didn't have to work anymore has been and will always be the proudest moment of my life. And the only thing that I regret, the only problem with thinking about that, and I don't cry anymore over it, but I used to a lot, was the contract that I signed in 2019, 2020 was nothing compared. 2019, actually. 2018, 2019. It was nothing. I mean, the one I signed in 2015 was nothing compared to the one I signed in 2018, 2019. She had died in 2017. So this Stephen that was able to go to the PAL and tell my mother, you could go on a cruise. You go on your cruise. You go on your vacations. I got the mortgage. this Stephen would have been able to say, you want a house in St. Thomas?
Yeah.
You wanna go on European tours 3 times a year?
Couple months.
You like the casino in Atlantic City, how you like Vegas? You want to get on a private jet? These are not things you can do every day or anything like that, because I ain't making that kind of money. But the things that I could have done for her now far exceed what I did for her when I told her she didn't have to work anymore. And the fact that she's gone and I haven't been able to shower her with that level of luxury and affluence is a sad thing for me, because she deserved it. She really did, because she spent close to 3 decades sacrificing everything just to make sure that we were okay. And I thought that she deserved better. And, got to talk to your pastor and stuff like that. You're not supposed to be angry at the Lord, and Lord knows what he's doing, and he doesn't make mistakes and all of that, but it's really hard.
Well, you did get to at least do that for her, the initial one.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, it is unfortunate, and I know she would have definitely enjoyed that, and she does deserve it. Just from the tone of your voice, I could tell how much she meant to you.
Yeah.
But don't be hard on yourself, man. That's the trials and tribulations of life. But you were able to at least accomplish that. Yeah.
God forbid, and I hope it doesn't happen to you. Well, actually, I do, because the worst thing that could happen to your parents is for them to lose you. My mother told me that. So your parents are supposed to go before you.
Right.
But when it happens, if it happens, trust you me, no matter how great of a kid you are, no matter how much you love them, there's going to be something about you that makes you feel bad, because you love them that much. And no matter what they got from you and no matter what they deserve, you're going to always feel that they deserve more.
Yeah.
Because in reality, when you're a great parent, that's what you want your kid to feel. You don't want them to be miserable. You don't want them to be sad. You don't want all of that. But you do want them to love you so profoundly that you stick with them wherever they go. And that's what that's about. That's what my mother did for me. She's with me every day, everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. Even when I mess up, I can hear her voice. I know that I'm not supposed to do something, and I'm like, damn it, she's why did you do that?
You can feel the presence.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. There's never a time when I do something positive or negative that I don't hear her mouth. Ever. And that is every day. And I come to find out that helps me, because I start imitating her and I start thinking about what she says, and it's like, yeah, she's with me. She's in my ear. That's what she does. Stephen, I did not raise you that way. Why are you acting like this? Why you sound like that? You don't talk like that. And I'm like, yes, okay, all right, Mom, all right. So she's always with me.
And I would be able to talk to you for hours. I appreciate the time that you gave me, and I know we went over what you told me. But this is one of my favorite things about content creating, especially talking to a guy like you who, you are the Michael Jordan of this, but now everyone's going to be saying the Stephen A. Smith. Like that's the case study. That's what everyone aspires to be. And
I don't know if they will, but if they do, I'm going to be very grateful and very humbled by it. But I still got work to do. And it's not just accomplishing for myself. It's just like with Draymond Green. I don't think people realize what it means to me to hear him say what he said publicly about me yesterday. And when he said that Stephen A. is always looking out. He's the first to call you when you do something right. He's the first to call you when he thinks you did something wrong. That means a lot to me, because it's true. I don't root against these guys. I want them to succeed. I really, really want to be a guy that fades into the twilight one day and they're like, yo, he looked out. He looked out, and looking out ain't always about telling you what you want to hear. And it's not about being devoid of criticism. In my perfect world, when you look at professional athletes and beyond, if I wanted them to see me in any way, I want them to see me as the guy that tried to help them, even when I chastised them. And even after I chastised them, I said, okay, How can we get you on the right track?
Mm.
Like, yeah, you messed up. All right, you messed up. Now let's fix it. You know, it ain't like you messed up, bump you. You messed up, you a lost cause. No. You messed up. Now let's fix it. Let's get it better. And Draymond gets that. And it ain't me bragging. I'm grateful because that's always been my intent. And one of the things that I've often said to a lot of people is I challenge anybody to look me in my face with factual evidence and tell me you ever discovered a time where I was rooting for you to fail. In all seriousness, of course, when I'm trolling Cowboy fans, you know, I'm just having
My favorite
fun.
part about you as a lifelong Giants fan, I gotta say.
Yeah. I'm just having fun. I'm just having fun trolling the fans and stuff like that. But in all seriousness, I ain't rooting for nobody to fail, man. I want everybody to get theirs. I want to get mine, you know. And you know, at this point in time in my career, more so than ever, I don't know how it hit me. I just get a real joy over knowing that I did something to help others. It makes me feel really good.
That's how you get the fulfillment now.
Yeah. I mean,
Totally.
only person I need money from is the people I work for.
Yep.
You know, I don't need no handout. I don't need anybody, you know, coming to me and acting like I think that I deserve something that I haven't earned. I don't need any of that. Give me what I've earned. Give me what I work for. And if I work for you, you're the one who should give it to me. But anybody else, it's like, cool. You know, I mean, anything that I could do to help. I'm a busy man, so I can't help everybody all the time. And, you know, because I got so much shit to do. But, you know, I'm going to always try to look out. I mean, that's just who I am. And to me, my you know, people that work for me, people that work with me, my family, my friends, man, I could throw a party, which I really do. You know, my assistant is right in front of me. She'll tell the world this. I'm smiling because everybody else is having a good time. I'm doing the same old stuff I always do. Playing a little pool, watching some TV, you know, watching a sporting event or whatever. You know, I'm not doing anything extra. But when I have people around me and they're enjoying themselves, and I know that I'm one of the reasons why they're able to have that joy in their life at that moment, it makes me feel really, really good. That's the joy. I don't have this need. I'm not a party animal, a bunch of red carpets and, you know, events and all this other stuff. Nah, that's not who I am. I've never been that dude.
You get it from other places now.
I get it from other people, watching other people enjoy themselves. I might go to a party. Man, me and Jay-Z and them, we used to hang out all the time at 4040 in New York when I was doing NBA shoot-around years ago, when I was doing Quite Frankly, you know, and all of that other stuff. I used to go in 4040. You could ask him about OG1, ask him, ask Jay, and all of them. I used to walk in the club, walk through the dance floor, up the stairs, through the VIP, past the bar, to go in the back room with them, debating sports. That's what we did. I'm not about crowds and partying and, you know, the red carpet. I'm the guy my lawyer, Janine, cursed out because I went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner through the back door because I didn't want to go on the red carpet. You know, when you see me doing stuff like that, that's ESPN. That's other people that I represent and stuff like that that ask me to do stuff like that. I don't need that. I do the work. Pay me. Give me my respect. And that's it. There's only one perk that I value. One perk and one perk only. I hate waiting online. I will pay whatever the price is. I'm not asking for no discounts. I'm not looking for somebody to hook me up and let me in free. You got a club, you got a business. I don't want your stuff free. You're a bouncer at the club or whatever the case may be. You looking out. No, I'm paying you. I'm putting money in your pocket. You got to eat too. I'm not like that. My only perk is I'm Stephen A. And because people know me, I don't have to stand in line. And that is what I hate standing in line for anything. Anything. I hate it. But that's it. As long as I don't have to stand in line, I'm good.
Simple man.
So I'm a simple man. Do that. And be around my loved ones, my family, friends, and loved ones, people that I know are part of my inner circle, that I trust, and keep it moving. Keep it moving. That's it.
Stephen A., I can't thank you enough for this, man.
Yeah, man.
I know what it's going to do for my show and what it's going to do for me, and just giving me your time. I think it's better than like offering me money, honestly. And I appreciate that. So thank you very much for your time.
Keep up the good work. Keep on the grind, bro. Keep on the grind. You're ahead of the curve. You started off early. This YouTube thing ain't no joke, and you know how to edit and create content for YouTube. You're ahead of the curve with the digital stratosphere, ahead of a lot of people. You can give notes and lessons on that. Capitalize off of it and make it happen for yourself.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the kind words. Guys, we'll catch you guys next time.
In his element, I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course be the venison.
Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be killed.